Good morning, everyone. Back. Another day, another downward dog, as we say. Yeah, so let's start with a comfortable seat. I see that most of you are here. Some are still signing in, but please take your comfortable seat, find your place. I'm going to stay snuggled for a few more minutes. Okay. Yeah, you can hide under there. That's totally fine. Yep. Yeah. Okay, please rest your hands in your lap. Thank you for being here. You're welcome to close your eyes if you like. You are arriving again for your practice, which means you have some consistency and duration and depth. And those are three things that our abhyasa is relying upon. Do we have consistency, in other words, without interruption? Do we have a certain level of depth or intensity? And do we have duration over a period of time? This week I'm working with the principle of Satya, which is truthfulness or honesty. And therefore, I'm also working with the throat chakra, or the sense that your voice, your words, your speech, your relationships, it matters. The yamas of yoga are about our dwelling in, our abiding in community. So these yamas begin with our relationship to others, though we can, of course, shine the yamas on our relationship with ourselves as well. So bring your thinking mind into its focus, like placing the aperture of the camera on the thing you're focusing on. And we're going to focus behind the sternoclavicular notch at the back of the throat, like the base of the throat. If you begin the ujjayi breath, even very subtle, you're going to almost sense that you're inhaling and exhaling through this place at the back hollow of the throat. Of course, the air is passing through the nose and the nasal passageways, but try to sense that place where you use the aperture of breathing and also the aperture of your mental focus. While you're toning the muscles deep in the back of the throat, like the epiglottis, you're not constricting or narrowing the throat right now. I'd like you to notice how subtle can you make it, right? So you, without causing breathlessness, how subtle can you support the ujjayi breath to be? The more subtle you make the breath, the more consistent, the longer the pace of the inhale and exhale might be. But again, we want to practice that without over striving or over efforting, so you don't become breathless. Notice how even just a few rounds of that focused ujjayi subtle breath, how does that influence your mental attention right now? And then you can join your hands to your heart. And let's try to sense the same sort of quality of opening the back of the throat when you're doing the chant, particularly in some of the vowels, and also when you're making the M sound whenever there's the Om, that the M sound is also an opening in the back of the throat. Om. Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namah Hari Om. Thank you. You may bow your head to your heart and release your hands. You're welcome to open your eyes. Okay, and I'd like you to fold the knees up towards the chest. So if you need to sit up a little bit taller on your blankets to have this be a comfortable position where the knees are snug to the chest, then go ahead and sit up on a couple of blocks if necessary. Okay, wrap the left hand around or the left forearm around, depending on your flexibility, and then twist to your right. And notice that the twist is going to be more dependent upon the upper thoracic spine and your head and your cervical spine. Because we have the knees up to the chest, we've created this, let's say, stability from about the mid-thoracic spine down to the sacrum. So twist from the mid-thoracic spine upwards to the crown of your skull. And notice the breath. If it's possible, the inhale expands to the sides of the waist and the back of the waist. And then exhale, come around to face forward. Wrap your right hand or your right forearm around and walk your left hand behind you. Twist to your left. And notice again that the twist is asking for flexibility from your thoracic spine, your cervical spine, your head, your neck, the shoulders. Let the breath come down to expand into the back and the sides of your waist. exhale around to face forward. Now keeping your right leg up, stretch the left leg out. Keep your Ujjayi breath with you, please. Okay, and then wrap the left hand or your left elbow, depending on your flexibility. And when you bring the knee up and you've got one leg stretched out, you're going to have an easier time for some of you wrapping because you only have one leg to wrap around. But it still may make sense for others to make it your left hand, and you could put the left hand between your calf and your thigh. And twist through the upper thoracic spine, your cervical spine, your head and your shoulders. And maybe you'll come a little bit down into the mid-thoracic spine too. Notice the breath expanding, so there's a sense of the back and the sides of the waist kind of like poofing out. Almost like when a bird just lets the feathers go slightly out, it's kind of readjusting its feathers. Give that sense of the feathers of the body floating out. And then the exhale creates tone again in the inner body. And rotate around to face forward. Step your left foot in, right leg out. Okay, and you could place your right hand between your calf and your thigh. Lift up through the torso and rotate to your left. During the inhale, actively notice the hollow at the back of the throat. That's where the subtle Ujjayi sound is going to be. Intentionally allow the breath to expand laterally and posteriorly in the back body. Let's see what you can start noticing during the exhale. The throat doesn't get more narrow or constricted, but the inner belly will get more toned. Exhale, come around to face forward. Cross your ankles with the right ankle in front. So it's on the outside like this, and the left ankle is behind. Bring your left hand to your right knee, right hand behind you. And now notice that the twist is likely going to include a bit more of the spine. So like a barber pole, we're going down, or I guess you could say like a corkscrew. You're putting that in the bottle of wine, I guess. So coming down and down. So now the mid-thoracic and maybe even towards the lower thoracic spine. Notice again the tone of the Ujjayi breath right behind the sternoclavicular notch in that little opening at the front body, but picture it in the back of the throat. And then exhale around to face forward, change your ankles. So the left ankle's on the outside and the right ankle's on the inside. Cross your right hand. You can turn it backwards if you have the flexibility. So you've got the back of the hand around the outside of your knee. That's optional, but you're welcome to do it. And bring the depth of your focus, the consistency of your attention, and the longevity of your practice right here to this moment. More exhale and come around to face forward. Now put the left heel on the inside, right heel on the outside. So this is called Siddhasana. The knees are going to be wider apart when you do it this way. And then take your left hand and across we go. Walk your right hand behind you, and now keep the pelvis and the sacrum stable. So you're twisting, more of the spine is involved, but keep the pelvis and the sitting bones and the sacrum stable. And twist only so deeply in the physical body that you still sense this consistent opening in the back of the throat. That sense of the hollow is not getting tighter as you make extra effort. If it is, that's really important biofeedback from your body that you might be pushing past your necessary sweet spot in yoga, the wonderful place that you could be. You need not push past that. Exhale and unwind just to come to facing forward. And then bring the back of your left hand around the outside of your right knee. And you're going to have to lean a little bit to your right. Place the right hand on the floor nearby. So now this twist has a little side bend. And then rotate your thoracic spine to your right. Look to your right. Notice what's different in the spine for a twist like this. And if you can expand the breath in the back waist, so the ribs are like the feathers of the bird, just gently expanding on the inhalation. And then exhale and come around to face forward. Okay, switch to heels. So now you've got your right heel on the inside and left heel on the outside. Cross your right hand over to your left knee. So we'll stay upright. We're in that kind of like corkscrew or barber pole experience right now. Walk your right hand over and twist to your left. And bring the consistency of your attention, continuous stream of attention. With the amount of intensity that's needed for this moment, not greater intensity and not lesser. And then exhale, come around to face forward. Keep your left heel on the outside, right heel on the inside like this. And then bring the back of your right hand to the outside of your left knee. Place your left hand on the floor and twist to your left. Notice the changes in the spine, but the consistency in the breath, the consistency of you making the effort at the back of the throat. And exhale, come around and upright. See what happens if you sit really still. Gonna come to our backs. I would like to do a little bit of that developmental work I was doing with you last week, because they're called developmental movement patterns. They're also called yoga poses. The way that we're going to do them will look a little bit more like a developmental movement pattern. So these blankets you don't need, you can set them aside. Please lie on your back with your knees bent. You're going to want to be able to have your right arm out to the side because we're going to start actually lying on the right side in just a moment here. You'll want to know where that place is going to be, and you're going to want to have a sweep of the left arm available to you. And then bring both knees up and bring both knees down to your right. And then take the right hand and hook it behind your left calf so that you can straighten your right arm. And you're making this, where you can see me better, you're making this little bit of traction from your left hip to your left thigh to your knee. Okay. So that bit of traction there is going to be important because now the twist, you're likely to feel it influencing the inner belly and the sides of the waist. So inhale, reach your left arm overhead past your left ear. So that's called the reach reflex. Reach from your left hip into your left fingertips. And then begin to roll really incrementally. Rotate from the crown of your skull, your nose, your throat, your neck, your shoulders, the ribs, your left arm, and let the left arm make an entire circle to come down alongside your left hip. And that's going to bring you back. So inhale, reach towards the camera in my case. And then inhale, raise your left arm past your left ear. And exhale, begin to roll really slowly. Keep your legs stable, keep your right arm and shoulder stable. Inhale, sweep the left arm down alongside your left hip. This time, exhale, reach towards the camera. Inhale, reach overhead. And then exhale, open to your left. And in that opening process, listen for where the myofascial body is feeling the sensation. Inhale your left arm now entirely forward towards the camera. And exhale, big circle of the arm, a full circle. Inhale down and forward. Exhale, big circle. And then inhale onto your back. And let your mind get really still right there. And then roll to the other side, please. So as you go to the other side, I'm going to scoot myself. So my space is maybe a little smaller than yours. It might not look small on the camera because of the kind of camera, but take the left thumb and index finger in the crease of the right calf and thigh. And start with the right arm reaching overhead. Reach the right hip away from your right shoulder, right fingertips long. And then begin to roll really slowly. So listen, you're kind of warming up the myofascial system also. You're notifying parts of the body. As you come through there, and then let the right arm come down alongside your right hip. And inhale, reach. Exhale. Inhale, lengthen your right arm past your right ear. This time, exhale, begin to roll really slow. So crown of the skull, the eyebrows, your nose, your throat, collarbones, right arm, rib cage, and then this time inhale, reach through. And exhale, big circle of the arm. Inhale, sweep down and forward. And exhale, big circle with your arm. Last one, inhale down and forward. And exhale, big circle. And then onto your back, please. And let yourself get really still. And then roll to your side and come up to your hands and knees. Give yourself the space in your area, your spot where you could step one leg out to the side. And what we're going to do is start with the right leg, step it out to the right like this, and place your hands in table pose. You press down into your left arm with your inhale, open and twist to your right. And then exhale, come under, reach through, keep the left arm straight. Inhale, glide to open. And exhale, keep the left arm straight so that when you reach under, you're asking the left shoulder blade and rib cage to also kind of separate a little bit between them. And inhale to open. Now that you have the understanding of the movement, let your primary focus go back to the Ujjayi breath and the sound. And you make the inner sound of the breath and the throat really smooth and unhurried. Once more, exhale under with a straight elbow. And then inhale, return to table pose. And step your left foot out to the side. You're listening into the throat, inhale, open. So you know the physical action now, you're not just learning it. And you can put your primary attention into the sound of the breath, knowing that your body's making movements, that is occurring, but the biofeedback you get from the throat about the consistency of your effort, in other words, the non-interrupted quality of the effort, and the biofeedback about your intensity being appropriate for the movements. That is where I want your focus to be during your practice this morning, is in the throat. Let's do this once more. And then exhale, keep the right arm straight as you reach down so the little gap between the right rib cage and the right shoulder blade. And then place your hands and step into table pose. Okay, step your right hand forward of your left. Reach back, touch the left elbow down like puppy dog pose. And relax the weight of your head. Listen now to the breath sound in the throat. This pose is more stable, more stationary. There's less to keep track of in the physical body. Notice the inner sound of the breath. Keeping your hands where they are. Inhale, roll forward to cat pose. Exhale, roll through to cow pose. Use your right arm more than your left. Inhale to cat pose. Exhale towards child's pose. Really, it's called puppy dog pose, but you have the idea. Inhale to cat. Both arms are straight. Exhale, cow pose. Use your right arm a little more than your left arm. Inhale, cat pose.
Use the left arm strongly. Exhale, keep the right fingers grounded as you go back towards child's pose or puppy dog pose. And do that once more. And as you exhale to cow pose, keep the right arm straight and inhale, raise your left arm forward. And then exhale and return your left hand as you reach back to puppy dog pose. And then come to table pose. So that added a little bit of instability and complexity because your right hand is so far forward in that version that you had to use other forms of stability, not this sort of just quadruped stability. You take the left hand forward and let's lower the right elbow down. Relax the weight of the head and listen into the breath sound again. So not only is listening in there like a form of really important concentration called dharana, you're also doing a kind of, shall I say, soothing, regulating, nourishing practice for your overall nervous system and your vagal tone. That is going to be very helpful if you choose to speak more honestly, authentically, truthfully in your life, that you have a sense of inner stability from where your voice is going to be coming. So when you next inhale, press into both hands and roll up to cat pose. And then exhale, come forward to cow pose. Use the left arm. Inhale to cat. Exhale, child's pose, puppy dog pose, kind of a combination there. Inhale, cat. Exhale, cow pose. Shift your weight forward so your left arm you are using. And inhale to cat, last one. Exhale, reaching back. This time we're going to be going forward and raising the left arm. So inhale, undulate cat. Oh, sorry, exhale, cow pose. You're going to raise your right arm with the next inhale. And then exhale, return. And reach back to child's pose. Rise up to kneeling. Okay, come to Vajrasana, please. Take notice how things are feeling. The quality of your mind and these cross-crawl kind of bilateral experiences with concentration. What now is the nature of your mind? Please rise up to standing. And bring your blocks with you. Come up to mountain pose. I'm going to tie my hair back again because it got distorted and I don't want it on my face when I'm doing this. Okay. So we're going to practice surya namaskar and I'm going to try to sneak in a little one leg balance pose with you. So please join your hands together at your heart. Listen to the ujjayi sound in the hollow of the throat. And commit yourself to consistency of attention with a certain depth appropriate to the level of the effort required.
And know that you're right now adding to your duration as a yogi, your longevity. Okay, so with your next Ujjayi inhale, sweep the hands down, wide, up, chair pose. Inhale, sit deeper back into chair pose. Now exhale, pour yourself down to Uttanasana. Inhale, glide forward. Exhale, lift your left knee up to your chest. Pick up your left foot like a flamingo. And then inhale, glide your left toes back. Exhale, sweep the arms wide. Inhale, rise up, crescent. Exhale, arms wide, and let's take the left hand like we did yesterday and place it on the small of the back. Fingers pointing up. Inhale, raise your right arm. So roll the left shoulder back, left elbow back. Walk the fingers up the rib cage so the heel of the hand points down and pulls the lumbar spine a little bit down, broaden your lower back, and then look up. And exhale, reach forward, right hand to its block, left hand to its block. Inhale, step forward, heart forward. You exhale, pick up your right knee to your chest. And then inhale, glide back. And exhale, sweep the arms wide. Inhale, rise up. Okay, exhale, arms wide, and take the left hand to support the right hand. Walk your right hand up. And then raise your left arm. Now keep the right butt strong, and the right hand is kind of drawing the back of the pelvis down. Broaden your back waist where your fingertips are, and then look up. And exhale, keep the legs stable as you reach forward, left hand, right hand. Now inhale, downward dog pose. Okay, exhale, roll forward to the structure of seal pose. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, plank. Inhale, downward facing dog. Exhale, right foot forward. Now inhale, float forward, Ekapada Uttanasana. Exhale, squeeze your left knee into your chest. Inhale, glide the left toes back. Exhale, arms wide. Inhale, rise up, root your right heel. Exhale, take the left arm down. I have to use my right hand to place. You may still need to use your hand, that's okay. Inhale, look up. Exhale, reach forward. Place your hands on the block. Now, with your left hand, step the block forward and inhale, float forward, Ekapada Uttanasana. Sweep your right arm forward past your right ear. So it's like a warrior three pose. I have to reach for the doorknob. Come on in. Hi. You're coming for yoga class? Hi. And exhale, bend your right knee. Take the right fingers to your block. Bring the left hand back with the block. And inhale, step backwards. Downward dog pose.
Okay, exhale, left foot forward. And then inhale, step forward, Ekapada Uttanasana. Exhale, squeeze your right knee in. Inhale, glide the right toes back. Exhale, arms wide. Inhale, rise up. So take the arms wide and bring your right hand up your back where possible. And then raise the left arm. Now with the exhale, keep the right leg strong. Come forward, left hip strong, left fingertips, right fingertips. Take the right block forward. Inhale, step forward. Reach your left arm forward past your ear. And exhale, bend the left knee. Glide your left fingers to the block, right toes back, right block back, step to dog pose. And exhale, come through to the shape of seal pose. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, plank. Inhale, downward facing dog. And then exhale, awkward foot forward, second foot forward. Uttanasana. Inhale, rise up. And exhale, hands to your heart. Here, let's check that again. So inhale, Ujjayi, listen in the throat. Exhale, chair pose. Inhale, sit deeper down in your chair pose. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, glide forward. Exhale, raise your left knee up to your chest like a flamingo. Inhale, step back. Exhale, arms wide like a great bird. Smooth inhale, rise up. And a smooth exhale, sweep the arms down, position your left hand, left wrist, left elbow. Inhale, raise up. And exhale, reach forward. The right hand finds its block, left hand to its block, step it forward. Inhale. Ekapada Uttanasana, Virabhadrasana 3 combined. Listen for the smooth sound of the breath. You're making that breath sound. And the physical efforts ought to align with your need for consistency, longevity, and the appropriate intensity. And we bend the right knee. Glide back to the base of your crescent. Walk your left block back. Inhale your left foot forward. Okay, let's exhale. Squeeze the right knee up like a flamingo. Inhale, glide back. Okay, exhale, arms wide. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, sweep the arms wide and place your right hand. This is from yesterday's practice. If you didn't attend that one, you can check it out on YouTube. Now follow your exhale. Reach forward, left hand, right hand forward. Inhale. There's the pose, but deep inside the pose is the breath. And deeper than the breath is your concentration. And then the left knee, glide back. And inhale, step backwards. Exhale to the shape of seal pose. Inhale, lift up, look up. And exhale, table becomes child pose. Let's walk the hands forward over the front edge of the blocks. Drop your hips back towards your heels. Now, when you place the fingers over the far edge of the blocks and the hips are drawing back, you're going to broaden your back waist. Keep the inner armpits lifted as you lower your head to the floor. And then lift from the base of your skull. Walk your hands back to your knees and rise up to Vajrasana. We were lowering the head there. It's kind of in a position you would use, excuse me, for Jalandhara Bandha. Vajrasana, let the mind get really still. Please place the two blocks each on the flat setting. It's going to be for your feet. Lie on your back. Watch out for ponytails and hair clips and other hazards of yoga. So you're going to have your feet a little bit higher than you would normally in this bridge pose. Just one flat block higher, just that much higher. So root your heels, raise your tailbone and your hips, and just come up part way to then assess. Are you going to clasp the hands under your back or use a yoga strap to support your wrists? Once you get that sorted through, tuck each shoulder under and come up to bridge pose. It's fine to use a yoga strap around the wrist. It's also okay to clasp, to interlace the fingers. Let the breath be smooth. It's very informative. The breath sound, the tone of the throat, very informative. This is a key pose in yoga because of what it does with the bandhas and the vayus. So keep it consistent, keep it smooth. You can think of the three words: consistency, depth, and duration. Now lower the hips down and release the arms. Now notice the mental state that you come down to. May your heels go part way up. Set the hands and the shoulders. If you have the stability and there's no sense of jostling, and you'll know that the breath is consistent and your mind is stable, you could consider picking up your left foot off of its block. If that causes a big disturbance or a bobble, or the breath suddenly evaporates, or the mind starts being bumpy, then put your left foot back down. And you can place it down on purpose now if you haven't yet, and try the other side. Step the right foot down when the timing is right for you. Or maybe you didn't lift it because you could tell it was going to be chaos, which would not be consistency, depth, and duration. Lower the hips down. And notice again, when you come down, what is the quality of the mind? Let's put the blocks on the medium setting. And take your right hand for a moment and point it up towards the ceiling like this, and then stretch the wrist. And do the same for the left hand. Okay. Now your hands are going to go under your pelvis like that. Even if you're like, what? What am I doing? That's how I felt 25 years ago when I was like, what? Why is my hand going under there? Okay, so we're going to go up to bridge pose, and the hand, we'll do one hand at a time. It goes under the back of the pelvis like this. So interlace the fingers or use your strap. And then you take the hand under one at a time, and the fingers, they point towards your rib cage. They point up on the pelvis. Roll the shoulders down, keep the elbows grounded. And then release one hand and the other hand. Okay, roll down. Now you might be asking, like, how would that be possible without your feet elevated? The answer is, I don't know. It was painful 30 years ago. It was painful 20 years ago. It's a little bit painful today, but with the feet on the blocks, it's somewhat manageable. Now bring these two blocks closer. Take them with your hands, please. Lift your hips up. Put the two blocks under the back of the pelvis. Now it's super easy. Just put your hands up like this. There's no weight bearing, but we're actually going to take the arms down and do the palms face down and energize your shoulders, your upper arms, your elbows, your forearms, and your hands. Remember that if in candlestick pose or supported shoulder stand, if your hip flexors are going nuts, it's better to bend the knees and let the legs have some ease to be up. because we're looking for the legs to be inverted. We are not looking to strengthen your hip flexors right now. There's other ways to do that. And it would usually be a sign that your hip joints need that consideration. Okay, please bend your knees, touch your toes down thoughtfully, raise your hips, put the blocks aside, and as you come down, then bring the knees to the chest without catching your t-shirt around your neck. And go ahead and clasp the hands between your calves and your thighs so that you're kind of putting a little bit of warmth or massage onto your wrists. Squeeze up. Come down to Shavasana. Now in Shavasana, what I'm going to recommend that you focus on initially is feel how the hands and wrists are going to get a little bit warmer. Because you had them in those positions, you were using the wrists in different ways. And you also had some closure to the brachial plexus. Now notice when the hands are getting warmer. Your mind rest. The hands will be neutral now. The temperature has likely become stabilized. So let yourself rest.
Om Tat Purushaya Vidmahe Vakratundaya Dhimahi Tanno Danti Prachodayat. Om Tat Purushaya Vidmahe Vakratundaya Dhimahi Tanno Danti Prachodayat. Om Tat Purushaya Vidmahe Vakratundaya Dhimahi Tanno Danti Prachodayat. Om Tat Purushaya Vidmahe Vakratundaya Dhimahi Tanno Danti Prachodayat. Om Tat Purushaya Vidmahe Vakratundaya Dhimahi Tanno Danti Prachodayat. Om Tat Purushaya Vidmahe Vakratundaya Dhimahi Tanno Danti Prachodayat. Om Tat Purushaya Vidmahe Vakratundaya Dhimahi तन्नो दन्ति प्रचोदयात् ॐ तत्पुरुषाय विद्महे वक्रतुण्डाय धीमहि 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 तन्नो danti prachodayat. Om Tat.
It's the quality of your mind in resting with the mantra. A thoughtful transition from your savasana back to your seat. Your seat. Please sit upright. You won't need your glasses. We're going to practice Brahmari, so I would recommend you keep your glasses off. The practice of truthfulness or honesty. There's another synonym. We could use the word integrity. When we are able to be truthful with ourselves and others with consistency, appropriate depth, and duration, then we are in integrity. It's the experience of being in our own integrity and others sense us to be a person who's in integrity. We're also in integrity with them. So this morning we're going to practice Brahmari 5 times. So you place the index fingers over the eyebrows, the other 2 fingers over the eyes, close your ears firmly with your thumbs, and 5 times we use the sound of the M from Om. Please begin. At your own pace. Rest your hands in your lap when you complete. And take 1 round of Nadi Shodhana.
Return your hand to your lap. So 1 round is 2 breath cycles. In the inner stillness, you will potentially experience, similar to the inner peace of being in your integrity, much less static in the mind and the life when you're in integrity. Just raise your hand to your heart. Thank you very much, everyone. Satya is the practice of truthfulness and leads to the state of being in integrity with yourself, which is a much more tranquil and simple place to be. You have less to keep track of. If we're in integrity, we don't have to wonder about what's being said or perceived if we're in integrity.
I will stop the recording and the Facebook Live, and I can hear from you how you are.